Everything in your world is a reflection of what you assume to be true. Your circumstances, your relationships, your financial situation, even the way people treat you, all are shaped by the beliefs you hold deep within. Life does not happen to you. It is projected from you. What you consistently assume, whether consciously or unconsciously, is what you will inevitably experience. Most people live under the illusion that reality is fixed, that the world operates independently of their thoughts. They believe that they must work, struggle, and strive to change external conditions before they can feel at peace. But this is a deception. The external world is nothing more than a mirror, responding with absolute precision to the state of consciousness you embody. If you wish to change your life, you must first change the assumptions that govern it. An assumption is not merely a passing thought. It is a deeply held belief, often so ingrained that you are unaware of its influence. You may believe that people are naturally kind, and so they are. You may assume that life is a constant battle, and so it is. The world does not argue with you. It simply reflects back to you the inner narrative you hold as true. Consider for a moment the areas of your life that seem stuck or resistant to change. Are they not the very areas where your assumptions remain unchanged? If you constantly assume that money is scarce, that love is difficult, that opportunities are rare, the world will give you exactly that. It is not because life is unfair, but because it must faithfully mirror what you persist in believing. Your outer world cannot contradict your inner state. The mind, conditioned by years of external influence, tends to resist this truth. It seeks validation in facts, in statistics, in the opinions of others. But facts are nothing more than old thoughts crystallized into form. If you wish to create a new reality, you must not look to facts, you must look to your imagination. Your imagination is the creative force through which assumptions take shape and become tangible. To shift your world, you must begin by assuming a new truth. Choose, deliberately and consciously, to see yourself as the person you wish to be. Assume that you are already wealthy, already loved, already successful, not as wishful thinking, but as a living reality within your consciousness. Hold to this assumption no matter what your senses report. The world will conform, for it has no choice but to reflect the new state you persist in believing. Many struggle because they allow their emotions to dictate their assumptions. If they feel discouraged, they assume failure. If they feel anxious, they assume things will go wrong. But emotions are merely the echoes of past beliefs manifesting in the present. They have no power except the power you give them. You must rise above fleeting feelings and hold steadfast to your chosen assumption, for it is not emotion that shapes the world, but the silent, steady conviction of the mind. Faith is nothing more than loyalty to an unseen reality. To walk by faith is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, even when the evidence has not yet appeared. The world is slow to change, only because people are quick to abandon their assumptions at the first sign of contradiction. The moment they see circumstances that oppose their desire, they revert to old beliefs, reinforcing the very reality they wish to escape. Your assumptions are the seeds from which your reality grows. Plan carefully, choose wisely, assume only the best, and the world will have no choice but to reflect it. Feelings, though powerful, are not the ultimate truth. They come and go like waves, shifting with circumstances, memories, and external influences. One moment you feel certain and strong. The next, doubt creeps in, and you begin to question everything. Yet what has changed? Nothing except your emotional state. The truth remains constant, unaffected by the temporary fluctuations of feeling. Most people live under the illusion that what they feel at any given moment is an accurate representation of reality. If they feel unworthy, they assume they are unworthy. If they feel afraid, they assume there is something to fear. But emotions are nothing more than the body's reaction to past thoughts and beliefs. They are the echoes of old assumptions playing out in the present. To mistake them for truth is to be led astray by shadows. A person who has long believed in their inability to succeed may wake up one day with a sudden burst of confidence. For a moment, they feel as though they can accomplish anything. Yet by midday, after facing minor setbacks, they begin to feel doubt creeping in. By evening, they are convinced that success is impossible. Has the truth changed? No. Only their emotions have shifted. They are not seeing reality. They are experiencing the oscillation of feelings generated by old conditioning. If you allow emotions to dictate your actions, you will forever be at the mercy of the external world. You will move when you feel inspired and stop when you feel discouraged. You will believe in your dreams when you feel good and abandon them when doubt arises. This is why so many remain trapped in cycles of stagnation, because they mistake temporary emotions for absolute truths. They allow their moods to define their beliefs, rather than holding firm to a deeper knowing. Consider a person lost in a forest at night. The darkness feels overwhelming and fear sets in. Their heart races, their thoughts spiral, and they begin to panic. In that moment, their emotions scream that they are lost, that they will never find their way out. Yet when the sun rises, the path becomes clear. Nothing about the forest has changed. Only the presence of light has revealed the truth that was always there. Feelings are the night, obscuring vision, making the familiar seem foreign, and the possible seem impossible. Truth is the dawn, constant and unwavering, waiting to be seen by those who refuse to be misled by momentary darkness. If feelings are not truth, then what is? Truth is a conviction that remains even when emotions try to pull you in another direction. Truth is the quiet knowing that persists beyond excitement, beyond fear, beyond doubt. It is the deep inner certainty that does not waver, no matter what the senses report. To live by truth rather than emotion is to free yourself from the tyranny of shifting moods. It is to choose belief over reaction, to stand firm in the unseen rather than being swayed by the ever-changing tides of feeling. Most people react to life rather than create it. They wait for emotions to inspire them before they act. But the one who walks by faith moves forward regardless of how they feel. They do not wait for courage to appear before taking a step. They take a step and courage follows. They do not wait to feel successful before assuming success. They assume success, and the feeling eventually aligns. Emotion follows assumption, not the other way around. The one who understands this principle is no longer controlled by the rise and fall of feeling. Instead, they direct their emotions by directing their assumptions. There will be days when you feel disconnected from your vision, when doubt clouds your mind and fear grips your heart. In those moments, you must remember, what you feel is not the truth. The truth is what you have claimed in faith, what you have assumed is already done. The world may appear unchanged, and your emotions may insist that nothing is happening. But appearances deceive and emotions fluctuate. The only thing that matters is what you persist in believing, regardless of how you feel. To live from the end is to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled before it becomes visible in your external world. It is not wishing, hoping, or waiting for a future event to change your circumstances. It is the conscious decision to embody the state of the desired reality now. The moment you assume a new state of being, reality begins to shift. For the world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner consciousness. Most people live in reaction to the world around them. They look at their current circumstances and base their emotions, beliefs, and expectations on what they see. If they have money, they feel wealthy. If they are loved, they feel worthy. If they experience success, they feel confident. But this is living from the outside in, allowing circumstances to dictate inner states. To live from the end is to reverse this process, to assume the feeling of the desired state first, allowing reality to conform to that assumption. Imagine an actor preparing for a role. The performance does not begin when the cameras start rolling. It begins the moment they step into character. They think as the character, feel as the character, and move as the character long before the world sees them on screen. This is how you must approach your own life. If you desire wealth, you must assume the mindset, posture, and confidence of one who already possesses it. And if you desire love, you must embody the warmth, security, and gratitude of one who is already cherished. The world only mirrors what you persist in assuming. Doubt will try to convince you that you are merely pretending. Your senses will report that nothing has changed, that the same problems still exist. But your senses are only showing you a reflection of past assumptions. They are not predictors of the future. They are merely evidence of what you previously believed. If you continue to react to what your senses show, you will remain trapped in an endless loop of repetition. But if you hold firm to your inner conviction, despite external contradictions, reality must eventually shift to align with your new assumption. To live from the end means to stop waiting. It means no longer looking for proof in the outside world before believing in the reality you desire. You do not wait for success before feeling successful. You do not wait for healing before feeling whole. You do not wait for love before feeling loved. You assume the end result as if it were already yours, knowing that creation is finished the moment you claim it in consciousness. Finish it, Pia! Everything you seek is already within you, waiting for you to align with it. There is no separation between you and your desire except the belief that it is distant. The moment you assume it is already done, the bridge of incidents begins to unfold, leading you naturally to its fulfillment. There is no need to force, struggle, or chase after anything. The world simply reorganizes itself to reflect the new state you have embodied. The world you see with your eyes is nothing more than a reflection of past beliefs. It is a shadow, an echo of what has already been assumed in consciousness. If you continue to react to what your senses report, you will remain bound to the same cycle, trapped in the illusion that circumstances dictate your destiny. But this is not so. Reality is fluid, ever-changing, shaped by the assumptions you hold, and it is only when you trust your vision over your senses that true transformation begins. Your senses are limited. They show you only what has already manifested, never what is in the process of becoming. When you look at your life and see lack, struggle, or limitation, it is not because these conditions must persist. It is simply because they are the result of past thoughts and beliefs. The mistake most people make is believing that what they see is all there is. They assume that their bank account, their health, their relationships, and their circumstances are fixed and immovable, when in truth, they are malleable, waiting to be reshaped by a new assumption. Vision is the ability to see beyond what is visible. It is the inner knowing that reality bends to the will of imagination. When you close your eyes and picture yourself as already being the person you wish to be, you are planting the seed of a new reality. The world may not immediately reflect it, but this is where faith must be stronger than the evidence of the senses. If you allow external conditions to dictate what you believe, you will forever be a slave to appearances. In fact, but if you persist in your vision, ignoring the temporary contradictions of the external world, that vision must become reality. Consider the process of planting a seed. When a seed is placed in the soil, there is no immediate evidence of growth. The surface appears unchanged. Days pass, and still nothing seems to happen. If one were to judge by the senses alone, they might assume the seed is lifeless, that nothing is taking place. But beneath the soil, hidden from sight, an unseen process is unfolding. The roots are forming, the seed is breaking open, and soon what was invisible will become visible. So it is with your assumptions. Just because you do not yet see the results does not mean they are not taking root. Those who achieve great things do so not because they trust what they see, but because they trust what they know to be true in imagination. They walk by faith, not by sight. They hold the vision of their success, their health, their joy, regardless of how things appear. They refuse to be swayed by temporary setbacks or contradictions, knowing that what is seen is always subject to change. The world will attempt to convince you that you are powerless, that your dreams are unrealistic, that you must accept things as they are, but reality does not respond to logic. It responds to conviction. What you persist in believing, despite appearances, will harden into fact. The senses will always try to pull you back to what is familiar, but your vision is the key to creating what is possible. Trust in it unwaveringly, and the unseen will become seen. The greatest power you possess is persistence. It is not talent, luck, or circumstance that determine success, but the ability to remain steadfast in your assumption no matter what the external world presents. Most people begin with enthusiasm, filled with excitement at the possibility of a new reality, but when obstacles arise, they waver. They allow delays, setbacks, and contradictions to shake their faith, and in doing so, but reality does not bend to those who give up easily. It yields only to those who persist. When you first assume a new state of being, the world may not immediately conform to your vision. The outer world is slow to catch up to inner conviction. You may declare yourself wealthy while your bank account still shows lack. You may affirm love while relationships seem unchanged. You may claim health while symptoms persist. This is the testing ground, the moment when most abandon their vision because they mistake delay for denial. But delay is not denial. It is simply the process of rearrangement. The old conditions must dissolve to make way for the new. And during this time, persistence is your only requirement. To persist is to remain loyal to the unseen. It is to hold firm to your assumption despite all evidence to the contrary. The senses will attempt to deceive you, showing you only remnants of past beliefs. They will tempt you to react, to doubt, to give up. But if you give in to these illusions, you reaffirm the very reality you seek to change. You must resist this urge. You must stand unmoved, knowing that what you have assumed is already a reality, even if the world has yet to catch up. Imagine a sculptor chipping away at a block of stone. With every strike, they reveal more of the form hidden within. But at first, progress seems slow. The untrained eye may see only rough edges, may think nothing is changing. But the sculptor knows better. They persist, trusting in the process, knowing that each strike brings them closer to completion. So it is with your assumptions. Each time you affirm your new reality, each time you refuse to accept the old, you are sculpting a new version of your world. The shape may not yet be visible, but with persistence, it must emerge. Most people fail because they do not persist long enough to see the results of their assumptions. They plant a seed and then dig it up in doubt. They affirm abundance, but then check their circumstances for proof, and when they see lack, they abandon their belief. But faith does not require proof. It demands persistence. You must persist beyond reason, beyond logic, beyond what the senses report. You must continue to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, even when nothing appears to be happening. The moment you give up, you return to the old reality. The moment you persist, you claim the new. There is no force in existence greater than a mind that refuses to waver. The world can only conform to what you insist upon, and it is through unwavering persistence that the impossible becomes inevitable. Everything in your world responds to you. You are not a passive observer of reality, subject to fate, chance, or external forces beyond your control. You are the operant power, the one who determines what is true for you. Your assumptions, beliefs, and inner conversations shape the world around you, whether you are aware of it or not. The power does not exist outside of you. It moves through you, waiting for direction. Until you take responsibility for this truth, you will remain at the mercy of appearances, believing life happens to you rather than realizing it happens through you. Most people live under the illusion that circumstances dictate their lives. They react to events, allowing external conditions to determine their state of mind. If they experience success, they feel confident. If they experience rejection, they feel unworthy. If money flows easily, they believe in abundance. But in doing so, they place power outside of themselves, letting the world decide what they can and cannot have. This is not how reality works. The outer world is a reflection of the inner world, and nothing appears in your experience that was not first accepted in consciousness. To be the operant power means to recognize that nothing changes until you do. If you want to experience wealth, you must assume yourself to be wealthy, not as a wish or future possibility, but as a present reality. If you want love, you must embody the state of being loved, knowing it is already yours. If you seek health, you must assume wholeness, refusing to identify with anything less. The world cannot contradict what you persistently assume to be true, for it has no power of its own. It simply mirrors what you claim in consciousness. Doubt and fear arise when you forget that you are the cause. When people believe they must struggle, force, or manipulate circumstances to achieve their desires, they reveal their misunderstanding of the principle. The world does not need to be convinced or controlled. It simply reflects. If you persist in seeing yourself as lacking, the world will show you lack. If you persist in seeing yourself as abundant, the world will rearrange itself to prove you right. There is no outside force that decides your fate. You alone assign meaning, and what you assume, you experience. Most people change their assumptions based on what they see, failing to realize that what they see is only the result of past beliefs. They check their reality for evidence, and when it does not align with their desires, they abandon their assumptions. But reality does not work on instant feedback. The physical world is slow to change because it follows the lead of consciousness. If you waver, if you allow doubt to dictate your belief, you remain stuck in an endless cycle of reacting rather than creating. To be the operant power means to stop looking outside for proof and start looking within for certainty. It means to persist in your chosen assumption regardless of appearances. It means to recognize that nothing in the world has the ability to dictate your state unless you allow it. The moment you claim your power, the world has no choice but to yield. The truth is simple. You are the operant power, and your world reflects your assumptions. Reality does not exist outside of you. It is shaped by the thoughts, beliefs, and states you persist in assuming. Your senses may deceive you, but vision is stronger than appearance. Feelings are fleeting, but faith must remain unwavering. The key to transformation lies in living from the end, trusting the unseen, and persisting no matter what. Nothing changes until you do. Assume the best, hold firm to it, and reality will conform. The world can only reflect what you have already claimed in consciousness